Hello, everyone. It is the Clear Language Lab at Literacy Works. Here, Sarah and Melanie with your Fall 2025 update for the Community Voices Project. Today, we're going to cover 5 things as usual. We're going to talk about Health Literacy Month, recent trainings, project updates, and then give you a couple of food resources that you can utilize or share with someone that you know as things are happening in our nation right now. And then we'll close with some upcoming trainings. So, Melanie, do you want to share?
Yeah, thank you. Um, it's still October, is Health Literacy Month. So we do a lot of work around health literacy. And for us, it's really important to talk about the difference between personal health literacy, which is, all of us being comfortable advocating for our health needs, but also what we spend a lot of our time on is organizational health literacy. So, what can organizations do? What can doctors' offices do? Clinics do? Community centers do to make sure that they're communicating effectively with community members? So we had a webinar that we did with the Cook County Department of Public Health, which was really cool. It was called Championing, I can never say that word, Health Literacy, Persuading Leaders and Inspiring Action. So what we talked about was thinking about how do you get the people who can make give the green light and say a project is okay to invest in work that people on the ground who want to try new things or want to better serve their community members. So it was great. We had about 50 people, and this is the first of 6 webinars that we'll be offering, and they're free to the public. Our next one will be in January. Um, yeah, and there's our cute little logo for the project. So yeah, January 16th, which seems far away, but isn't, is going to be the next one. And then there'll be one in March, May, July, and September. I mean, if you haven't been to the website is healthliteratecookcounty.org, and there are all sorts of resources around health literacy on the website. And also, if you missed it and you wanted to watch the video, it'll be up probably in the next week or two. So you can head there and check it out. Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Sarah.
Hey, so we've been busy this early fall with lots of trainings, and we've had some more coaching sessions, so working with a lot of different organizations on their communications. Just most recently, we did a training for the Lake County Community Foundation, which is an organization that supports nonprofits in Lake County, and there are also folks from McHenry County in there. So if you live in either of those counties, there may have been some folks representing organizations you might see around in your community. And we talked about some of the ways that folks can talk about their work effectively, talk about the impact of what they do, how they make a difference in their communities, and specifically right now where there's just a lot of changes happening, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of challenges that folks are navigating and how to think about that in their communications. We also did training for the Housing Action Illinois AmeriCorps members. Marshall was there. And we got to present to an amazing group of AmeriCorps members and thinking about how they talk about their work to their audiences and serve folks in various ways supporting housing across Illinois. And then we are also started our training series with the Skokie Public Library. And you all helped out. And if you remember a few months back, you looked at their instructions for how to print at the library and gave some really helpful feedback. And we've been sharing that in the training, and folks really appreciated the insight you all shared. And I think it resonated with a lot of the participants. It was meaningful for them and was helpful in thinking about ways to make those communications more usable for folks. And we also want to shout out Tiara. She did an awesome job presenting at our Community Literacy Symposium. So our colleagues in the Community Literacy program held their own mini conference for adult literacy teachers and tutors and program coordinators. And Tiara shared about how organizations can create their own community feedback groups like what we have here And Tira, I don't know if you have anything you want to add about that.
Particularly, but it was really fun to present, and people had lots of great questions. And I think this group is a good example of how to do community and feedback well. So thank you all for being awesome. Moving forward, just project updates. In addition to our work with the Cook County Department of Health, we've also still been working with the Corporation for Supportive Housing with the website. This past meeting that we had in October, you all are still helping us to work on the site. Hopefully, in our next meeting in November, we'll be able to go through some pages as a group just to do a little digging and make sure that what we're creating is doing what it's supposed to do. And then we're also continuing work with the Cook County Assessor's Office, helping with their website to make things clear and understandable. So we may have some more examples from them in the future. And so, number 4, we wanted to share some resources, as we talked about in our last meeting. And for those of you that weren't with us, there's a lot of things happening. Today we're recording, and as of now, the government is still shut down. And so we know if this continues into November, the SNAP benefits will be discontinued, and there's some other things that are happening. So we wanted to share here some resources that you could utilize. If you also look in the emailed newsletter, you'll have access to those links to get to these sites. But just wanted to mention, We Got You Illinois. They have information about nutrition programs and how you can apply for them. So they actually give you the information and ways that you can apply on their site. And then IDHS has a Food Connections page on their website with a collection of sites you can use to locate food banks and resources throughout Illinois. And then the Greater Food Depository has on their site an interactive map that you can use. You can put in your zip code or your address, and it'll show you places in your area that you can not just locate food pantries, but any other services as far as medical benefits or support for families you can locate on that map. So that's a really good resource to use as well. As I said, there are links in our newsletter for this. And if you don't need it yourself, feel free to share these resources with your friends or family because there are a lot of people that are being impacted by the things that are going on in our world. So we always want to make sure that we're looking out for each other. And if you know of any other resources or programs that would be helpful for us to share out with the group, please feel free to email any of us and we'll be happy to share those out. We don't always have to wait for the newsletter. If there's something that you really want to get out, we can make sure that happens. So thank you all for always being available for that. And I'll pass it to Sarah.
Our last thing is just to share some of the upcoming things we have going on. So we have our next monthly office hours on Tuesday, November 18th. That is a drop-in window between 10 and 12. So if you have any questions about communication, written or spoken communication, something you want, a document you want help with, things like that, feel free to drop into those office hours. We also have a webinar in November on Wednesday, November 19th. And it's not you, it's your process, improving processes through a plain language lens. And we're going to talk about how sometimes systems or processes can make it difficult for people to do things, right? To do what they need to do, whether it's signing up for a program or staff struggling to communicate internally at an organization, knowing what services are available somewhere and how to access them, things like that. So if that's something that's interesting to you, we encourage you to stop by that webinar. And we also have a cohort of our Writing for Understanding 2, so level 2 of our Writing for Understanding training starting on November 20th, because we got a busy week that week. And if anyone is interested in any of these trainings or the other trainings that we offer, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can also register directly on our website under the Clear Language Lab trainings page. And thank you all for viewing this, for being part of our group. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you around.
You.